Hi guys, this is Connie, back for some more Connie Reads The Dogs of Winter. This is chapter 40, titled Broken. Day after day, the snow fell. The militia drove the children and the Bomsey from the metro stations. The street children disappeared beneath the city streets to warm water pipes below. The Bomsey slept in doorways in apartment building lobbies. The garbage bins behind the restaurants where I found our food now filled with snow. Everything we ate that winter was frozen solid. I tried to remember summer. What had it felt like to be warm day after day? How had grass felt under my bare feet? I could not picture the green meadow dotted with yellow flowers. I could not remember the sheltering arms of the great tree we slept beneath. I did not believe in summer or warmth or angels. All I believed in was cold. We were all tired and snappish. Some days all I wanted to do was sleep on the warm, rocking train. The thought of spending another day in the bitter cold, wind, and snow trying to find enough food to feed the 7 of us brought me to tears and made me turn on my family. "Why can't you find your own food?" I shouted at the dogs one afternoon as I dug my way through a snow-filled garbage bin. Rip whined. Lucky just wagged his tail. "If it weren't for you, I would be fat," I said. I pulled a rotten potato from the snow and hurled it at Rip. It bounced in front of him and then skittered away. Star pounced on the potato. Lucky woofed with excitement at the new game I had invented. "I'm not kidding," I shouted. Little Mother and Moon looked up at me on top of the snow-covered garbage with worried eyes. "You're lazy. You're stupid, lazy dogs." I hurled my frozen carrots, onions, chunks of bread, and bones down upon the dogs. The dogs quickly realized this was no game. They crouched and cowered beneath my anger, their eyes pleading. "Stop," Smoke said. "Oh, now you speak to me," I cried. "You haven't spoken to me for months, and now you boss me around?" I threw a frozen cabbage as hard as I could and hit Smoke squarely on the side of his head. He yelped in pain and staggered. The dogs all looked at me like I was some red-eyed beast. I was not their boy. I was not one of them. I was an other. Smoke shook himself and then tossed me a cold look. The words were a frozen lump in my throat. Smoke barked once and trotted to the end of the alleys. The dogs looked from Smoke to me, standing on top of a small mountain of garbage and snow, red-faced and shivering. Despair and the days behind us and ahead of us swept over me. "Go!" I cried. "Just go! I don't need you!" The dogs flattened their ears and tucked their tails and disappeared with Smoke. I stared at the huge, empty, dog-shaped hole where they no longer were. I dropped to my knees and panted. I waited and watched. Surely they would be back at any minute. Lucky smiling his lucky smile and wagging his tail. Little Mother washing the snot and tears from my face. Rip snuggling against me, their eyes, even Smoke's eyes, saying all is forgiven. I climbed down from the garbage bin as the wind swirled up the alley. The sky grew lean and leaden and close. Any minute now, they'll be back, I told myself over and over. The skies opened and great sheets of snow fell. I climbed inside an empty cardboard box and curled up on my side. I hugged my knees to my chest and rocked back and forth. I heard soft footfalls in the snow. They were back. I stuck my head out into the snow. "I am so sorry. A large black cat looked at me with cold green eyes. A rat hung from his mouth. I pulled back inside the box and buried my face in my hands. "I am alone," I moaned. "I belong nowhere and to no one in the whole world." I cried and shivered and rubbed the tooth in my pocket over and over and over. The day faded to night. I woke to something warm and wet stroking my face. "Mother," I said, through chattering teeth. I reached up my arms to the warmth of Little Mother's neck. I buried my frozen hands and face in her deep fur. Rip pushed into my lap and snuffled my neck. Moon and Star did their best to curl themselves into the box, but it was not big enough for a small boy and 4 dogs. I crawled out of the box. The alley was lit with snow and moonlight. I stood in drifts above my knees. The dogs crowded around my legs and licked my hands and fingers. I am sorry, I whispered in the moonlight. I never meant to hurt you, I said, stroking heads and shoulders. You are the best dogs, the best family. Lucky dropped a fat sausage at my feet. I laughed. Who did you steal this from, my little thief? He wagged his tail. His eyes glinted with mischief. Malchik. I turned. Smoke shimmered and shifted as a cloud passed over the moon. Smoke. I held out my hand. For the first time in all the many months we had been together, he pushed his head into my hand. I stroked the top of his silver and black head and the thick ruff around his neck. His eyes were yellow in the moonlight. Our Malchik, he said again. Our boy. And I knew my place in the world. And that's the end of chapter 40. Be careful with that and enjoy, please and thank you, and I will see you for the next installment. Have a great one.